Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of MTG Study Hall, continuing to be social distance edition, but perhaps not for too much longer, fingers crossed. Want to say a quick apology. We had just some scheduling stuff 2 weeks ago, so we missed a show. Our apologies. We had a little extra pre-show for you there, and if you're interested in that, all you need to do is pay $1 on Patreon a month. But I guess that was the perfect time to talk about this. And if you want to support us and other places outside of Patreon, we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all at those various websites /TCG University. We are available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Spotify. And we are on the Discord. If you want updates on the shows, that's the easiest place to get it. We have some Patreon junior or higher sponsors to do a quick shout out to. So I'm going to do that now. We've got Addy, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albano, Bryce Rathsack, Clay Cardwell, Jacob Arson Masur, Jay Rogers, Jesse Cervini, Jesse Morrison, Jesse Nix, Justin Farst, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Kyle K, Lucinda Letica, Orlando Valdez Santos, Paul Casagrande, Ransom MacArthur, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Timothy M. Freelieb, Tamers Evolutions TCG, and Tyler Zane Pease. And a really quick shout out to our sponsors: Nuclear Ink Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop, Red Riot Games, Cards Custom Build, Inked Gaming, and Dex Protection. There will be more on those wonderful sponsors later in the show. All right, I think I actually managed to get it all this time without messing anything up.
Nice.
So, thank you very much. And I just abbreviated Kyle's last name without stumbling over it first, so I'm at the very least learning.
You are. And it's April 1st, so I'm glad you didn't fool anyone with soon coming to OnlyFans or anything like that.
I wish I had. That would have been great. I wanted to just we don't record the show enough. My thought was to just do I think the best thing we could have done is all just pulled up Google and how to modify a custom car, how to refurbish an old car, and we should have just tried to bullshit an hour of talking about something we know nothing about.
I can do it. I'm so fucking good at bullshitting about shit I don't know.
Cards.
Yeah, no car. Yeah, it's about different car interiors and I really like Dodges. That's a car brand, right? Yeah, they're the best ones to make old ones look new or something. Again, I know nothing about this, but we don't record enough shows to spend an hour of one of our 2 shows this month doing a protracted April Fool's joke. But who knows? Maybe in the future when we're all rich and famous off this show and can do it full time.
Spend 30 minutes talking about Tesla stock.
No, see that could almost happen.
Not an expert.
Can we just get a
financial advisor?
Can we get a button that's not a medical expert, not a financial advisor, and we can just JC, can you just play that up on the screen whenever I speak?
Yeah, actually I can.
That would be great, because we really need this is not financial advice, just in very bright red letters. All right.
I mean, or just not an expert, I think is
not an expert. Can we get that? Should be what our show's catchphrase T-shirt is. It should be TCG Universe, MTG Study Hall, not an expert. So,
sure.
It's been a month. Lily, what have you been doing in Magic the past month? Or week, whatever. Ain't no rules.
Some card shit and watching spoiler season.
Okay. Fair enough. JC? Past month, week, whatever. What have you been doing in Magic?
Oh, 1 second.
No problem. I can do mine real quick. So, as for me, watching spoilers. Played a little Commander. Got to slot some Kaldheim cards into the decks. Man, they are really printing some sweet dwarves and dwarf-related activities for my Depala deck. It's a pretty nice feeling. Trying to think if we had anything wildly kooky happen. Man, my collection's at the place where if I just try to build a normal style deck, sometimes it's really not a normal style deck. My Borborygmos deck is not a reasonable deck. And that's not just because I have a Gaia's Cradle in there. But, oh boy, that deck is dumb. Did you know that playing a lot of extra lands every turn is really good?
Yeah.
So, everyone else learned that too. So, so just mostly Commander, paying attention to spoilers. Currently, there's an April Fool's Day event going on Arena, which I might try to jump into. My understanding is it's just it's like there's OG Magic rules, so 40 card deck, any number of anything, and you can put anything in there. So like, and I think Black Lotus is in the pool. So like, someone was running on Reddit said they were running all Ghost Quarters. That's just the whole deck, just Ghost Quarters. People were talking about like, I think it's like a third Black Lotus, a third Thoughtseize, and a third Death's Shadow.
Okay.
So I haven't gotten a chance to do that. My day's been a little crazy, but I might have to check that out. So
what they should have done is what Standard would look like right now if they hadn't banned anything.
Oh. And JC, what have you been doing with Magic recently? We'll just say recently.
Been watching some gameplay and played, just a couple minutes of Magic Legends so far. So far, kind of my impression is like I wish it was Diablo, but it's not. Like, it's not as like loot grabby. The mechanics don't feel like as clean. It's not done yet though, so here's hoping. Like, but yeah, I just want it to be a little bit more grabby and fun and environmental and stuff like that. But like the card mechanic is cool.
Okay, I played none of this. The plan was to talk a little bit about Magic Legends. For those of you who don't know, it is a new free-to-play. Is it an MMO technically? Like, it's not like a big world MMO, but like.
Yeah, technically it's an MMO. Kind of.
So
it's like Diablo in that way. Like, you can play with other players and there's world events and
Yeah, so it's an RPG. It's an
ARPG.
ARPG. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, it's in beta, so it's free to play right now. I was wondering if like the random, your abilities being kind of in a deck and coming up randomly, if that is distracting or like, do you feel like you're in control of that? Is it executable when you're in the middle of a big combat pile, or are you just slamming your hotbars and hoping things are relevant?
No, it actually feels mostly okay. If you've ever played like League of Legends or anything like that, and you have like 4 different abilities, like imagine it's kind of like that, except like the cards, you build a deck and then they come up kind of randomly after a cooldown, and you get to play them. So you get some control in that, like what you build in the deck, what you slot up for the hotbars, and you have like standard attacks and stuff that don't use those, obviously. So they're like big kind of flashy effects and stuff like that. So it feels very like doable, like and because you get a certain element of control over what you build, it doesn't feel like it's bad, like as much as you would think. Like at first I thought this might actually feel like very clunky, like you might get the wrong cards at the wrong time and it might feel very weird and you can't like really engage in combat or anything like that. But because you have like basic skills and you have like ways to beat enemies without necessarily needing the cards, and because you get a certain element of control over what you build and what might get slotted into the hotkeys, it feels mostly useful and mostly not bad. So that mechanic actually seemed to work.
So I didn't realize that there were standard attacks. So it's instead of like you don't have, it's not like a total random grab bag. It's your special move kind of rotates. It sounds like.
Yeah, you have 4 different abilities, and those all kind of rotate, and you have like standard attacks other than that. So yeah, so it feels sort of like League of Legends-y.
Okay. Does it feel like the bones are good? Like, it is in beta, so it could be changing. Or do you have hopes for like if they listen to feedback and improve that, like there's going to be a reasonable like final product, or are you a little worried on what you're seeing from the outset?
So the major feedback that I've been kind of reading in the community and feeling a little bit is like people really hope it doesn't become badly loot boxy. Because it has like loot boxes kind of masquerading as like magic packs, and
okay. To be fair, magic packs are loot boxes.
I mean, you are correct. Magic packs are loot boxes. And the way it was kind of working in the thing. So you know how in Arena you can buy, basically buy gold and then like get cards, or you can actually grind up to the cards.
If only it were that simple.
Well, buy packs, it kind of felt like you could buy fairly easily like the packs and the spells that you need, but grinding seemed like a really large number to actually get like new packs and stuff like that. So they've thankfully, like, so far they've heard some of the feedback on the balance of that like you need to be able to progress just by grinding and not by spending money faster, and that loot boxes need to not be like a super prevalent thing, and that loot actually dropping on the ground and, you know, from monsters and reliquaries in the world and stuff like that need to actually feel stronger and feel like you. So it's not at all pay to win, but it feels like pay to play faster, like, and that can kind of be a bad feel. And also, like, the bones feel good, so like I like the environments, I like the touches of the worlds, I like the system, actually, like the font and stuff. I don't know if Wizards has like a standard font, but it feels very like arena font.
It's a Bellerin.
Cool.
They made one.
So actually, like, the bones feel good. I think they can definitely do some things to make this game like very addictive, very fun, very clicky, Diablo-y, and, you know, like, go through it. And I hope they get there, and I hope they don't make it like very like loot boxy and very like vapid as far as storyline and environment and stuff otherwise, which are things that they can really beef up on.
So, and I've heard just rumors. Is it true that like one of the character classes is hidden in loot boxes, or are all of the things available to play from the outset?
As far as I know, all the things are available to play in the outset, but that might be something I missed.
Okay.
There's a Diablo 2 remaster coming soon, so I wonder how this is going to do.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's like, oh, get more people interested in the genre, or if it's going to be, why play something like it if you can go back and play Diablo 2.
Yeah.
And don't count Blizzard out. They could absolutely fuck it up like they did the Warcraft remaster.
Well, they specifically are not the old version of Diablo 2.
They're not, say again, you cut out a little bit.
So with Warcraft Reforged, they replaced the old version of Warcraft with it.
Yeah.
With the Diablo one, they're specifically not doing that.
I wonder why.
Well, also Diablo 3 like didn't start off feeling good at all. Like the way the loot tables kind of worked.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Auction house stuff, and it didn't feel good, but they actually took steps to make it better. So that's kind of actually the nice part about it being like this online ARGPGs. Is that they can make balance changes and they can do things over time. So,
and something you said where the feedback seems to be that on Magic Legends they need to make the gear dropping feel better and more important, which that sounds like a real big deal, because like that's kind of the whole loop of this genre. Like, I'm not a huge Diablo fan, but like that's just because I don't like the I like the RTS style isometric clicky controls as much, but like I love Borderlands. And so the whole like point of those games is to kill shit and go into dungeons and to get new stuff and replace your old stuff with slightly shinier stuff. So, I mean, yeah, loot boxes can kind of give you that like rush and like, ooh, what if I get the thing? Like, I can't throw too many stones. I play Magic the Gathering, and the other game I play consistently is Genshin Impact. So like, I'm not saying if it's because there's a loot box I'm going to hate it, but you can't be, if you're too loot box focused. Then if it's not exciting to go out and get the gear and you're just living for that next box opening, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Because it's not.
Loot boxes is like, that's like a whole conversation, because like I still don't like, they're in everything, like, at least for like, even when it's costumes and cosmetic stuff, like the costumes in loot boxes are usually just so fucking cool. Like,
Oh yeah.
like I remember how many loot boxes I bought to get the Winter Owl Anna skin. Like a ton.
I dropped $20 every event on like Overwatch for like a year, because there's always some hard to get new Diva skin that was going to be awesome, or like a new soldier skin, like the one where he's like a grill master.
Oh, man.
Which
It's so great.
Which is what surprises me, that there hasn't been more like Magic the Gathering based video games, because that seems like a perfect way to institute loot boxes, is to tie it into card packs and card draws and alternate card art and stuff like that.
I mean, I'd say that's because WotC has no fucking clue what they're doing. I mean, now finally I think they're appreciating the scope of their brand. Perhaps, and in some people's eyes, appreciating the scope of their brand too much. But Yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing. Games Workshop is finally pulling their head out of their ass. And like Games Workshop at least has had good, consistent video games. Like the Dawn of War franchise is pretty popular. But like, yeah, the fact that like Magic hasn't been able to stick like a really popular game is surprising, particularly like you said, because one of the core conceits of the card game is random packs, and that is the main area of design focus in AAA publishing right now. So,
which feels real bad. So
I mean, I just want them to do just like standard like third-person action game, Assassin's Creed, Ghost of Tsushima. Do that, but with planeswalkers, and I'm super in. Like, you have to climb to the top of
game.
Say again.
Open world Magic game.
Open world Magic game, yeah.
I'm over open world games.
I mean,
curated experience.
See, I only play the really good ones, so like Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Zero Dawn are phenomenal. Like Breath of the Wild too. So like I'm not playing.
Outer Worlds was really good.
Yeah, so like I'm fine. I like a nice big open world game, but I also don't play every other year. Like here's Assassin's Creed, but they're wearing a different hat. So like I don't do too many of them. I feel like I only hit like the big ones, but like if you can make a nice big budget, good solid one, like that's the thing. I like that gameplay, and I like Chandra. Let me light people on fire, and I can climb to the top of a tower and light people on fire on a tower. Like that's fine. And like that's the whole like those games where it's all about the world. How cool would it be to see like instead of having one giant map, you have like 6 smaller plains maps, and you can planeswalk. And you could like overlay the maps and kind of take advantage of that. And like in those games, they're already built around the idea that you teleport. So like I feel like this is not that hard.
Yeah.
And like
I don't know.
We know how much money WotC makes at this point. Like literally a third of Hasbro is like the crossover department into movies and games. So like I feel like hire a big budget game company to make your big budget game.
For sure. Like that is a weird thing. It's like Hasbro and what? Like you got money. Like
so much.
Like pay Activision. Like do something. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Like they're just you've got all that money, and maybe they're starting to see that. And so like once this Netflix show happens, if you can make people care about the Planeswalkers and get people excited, like you've got a great cast. You have like a marketable, diverse cast. It's going to be real easy to get people really invested. You just have to like not make shit games. So I want Magic Legends to be good. Monster Hunter came out, so I absolutely haven't touched it because Monster Hunter. But at some point, I will be trying it out.
I just playing Valheim still.
Oh yeah, I promise I'll play more Valheim, but for real though, Monster Hunter. I finally got the bug last game. It's good. You should get it. It's on the Switch. It's super worth it. It's real fun.
Fair.
You get those monsters and then you hunt them.
But other than that, I actually got some art in, so that's nice. I like filling up my house with magic art. So that is that. Shall we talk about some Strixhaven?
Yeah. So that's the rest of the show is just gonna be Strixhaven. I'm gonna put some.
Hi, and welcome to the ads. This week we are brought to you by Cards Custom Builds. Are you into cosplay? Are you looking to get into cosplay? In the future, do you want to show up at your favorite event dressed up as your favorite character? Well, then Card Custom Builds is here to help. Cards Custom Builds creates everything from props and trinkets and weaponries all the way up to full costumes. I've seen some of the costumes that they made. They are all fantastic. They're really good stuff. If you would like to get some awesome things for your cosplay or just cool stuff to have around, if you want to throw a Halloween party at the end of the year and be like the talk of your Halloween party, please go check out Cards Custom Builds over at Facebook and tell them about TCG University. Say that we sent you and you'll get 5% off your entire order. Please do this. They do a bunch of things over there. Clay is making a lot of really cool stuff. He makes coasters too. If you want to go get coasters, I think he's selling them on Etsy and on Facebook. So please, if you want to get some cool stuff for your cosplay or for anything, go check out Cards Custom Builds and tell them that we sent you. This week, we are also brought to you by Dex Protections. Dex Protections is in a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their designs and innovation come from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you, so you know that what they make is stuff that you will want to buy, because they are also making stuff that they would want to buy. They are on a never-ending pursuit to create the best product, and that is why they are the leader in the industry in creating accessories for your deck products. Please, if you would like to go get some new stuff for when we're finally able to go out into public and go to tournaments and stuff, go to Deck Protections, and there will be a link down in the description down below for that. Please go check them out. We are also brought to you this week by Red Riot Games. They are a Canada-based online seller of things like Universes, MTG, and Pokemon. They're friends of the show. We like them a whole lot. Please, 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 please go to redriotgames.ca and check out all their singles there. And when you check out, use creator code TCGU to help support the show and help support them. It would be greatly appreciated. We like them a whole lot, and we would love it if you would use them to buy some singles for any upcoming tournaments that you might have towards the end of the year. Lastly, we are brought to you by Nuclear Ink Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop. At Nuclear Ink, you will find a very inclusive environment with artists that share interest in nerd culture and fandoms alike. Nuclear Ink prides themselves on Omaha's premier all-custom tattoo shop. If you are in the area and looking to get a custom tattoo, please check out Nuclear Ink here in Omaha. Link in the description down below. They're cool guys. We like them a whole lot. Yeah, they're really awesome. Please, if you're in the Omaha area and you want to get a tattoo, please go check them out. Thank you. And we'll get back to the show.
So, first of all, I think we've kind of been talking about this a little bit amongst ourselves, but I'll open it up there. Damn, Strixhaven seems really sweet as like a setting, and I've been pretty jazzed about it since they announced it. And yeah, I will say what I was initially a million years before we started the show. I watched the intro video or the announcement video live, and they've been trying really hard to be like, it's not just Harry Potter. We promise it's not just Harry Potter. It's really very Harry Potter, but like they open it up, it's like, welcome to Strixhaven, where everyone isn't a terrible fucking turf. We let people be who they are, not like those other people who sucks. Welcome to Strixhaven. We're not Harry Potter, even though we are, but we're not a bunch of douchebag turfs.
We're like the parts you like, without the weird, like, British cultural baggage.
The weird, unnecessary, turfy gatekeeping.
Okay, I'm not saying that like turfdom is necessarily a British thing, but like, also, y'all, come on.
Yeah, I feel like I can't judge many other countries much as an American, but England, come on, get your shit together. I think that's like the one country I feel comfortable giving shit to as well.
So the one thing they have over us is like fewer mass shootings.
God. But yeah, so it was. I mean, joking. Outside, disconnecting from Harry Potter a little bit, they're leaning into the tropes, and this is when Magic is at some of its strongest, in my opinion, is when they're like, you know that thing you like? Here's the Magic version of it. So like, there's Quidditch. It's not called Quidditch. It's called like Mascot. It's not called Mascot. Wizard's Tower, I think, is the game name. Mage Tower. But you just like kidnap the other team's mascots. But there's like dumb, goofy mascots. There's unnecessarily divided up separate colleges. There's 10 deans for 5 schools. And if you haven't seen the person who edited the dean from Community into each of the 10 deans' art, you are missing out because, yeah, I would pay a lot of money for a Dean Craig Pelton, like, set edits.
Oh, Lord. I will say that the Mage Tower thing, so Mage Tower was a Commander variant way back.
Oh, that's right! I didn't even think about that!
Right, and it was like, are they going to release a product that's like that? And it's like, no, they're just calling it that. But like it reminds me also of like the like professional like competitive bending that was in Korra.
Oh, I haven't.
That's what it reminded me of a little bit, where they have like teams of like fire and earth and water benders that like go against each other.
So I have not seen Korra. I know that's not a popular.
Sorry.
Okay, normally I am yelled at whenever I'm told, and at this point now I just reference the M. Night Shyamalan movie and get yelled at. Continue to be yelled at.
Okay, so here's the deal. Korra I didn't like as much as The Last Airbender, but it is also gayer than The Last Airbender.
It is.
So I mean,
but so something I wanted to throw out there. One of my favorite Magic World is Oh wow, yeah, this is sorry, we're just talking. There's so many damn.
I know.
It's Battle Bond. Battle Bond takes place in Word Talk having Kylum. And the reason that I can't say Kylum is because the set's not called Kylum, and they don't talk about Kylum that much, because Battle Bond is in an arena in Kylum. And this is giving me some serious Battle Bond flashbacks in a good way.
Yeah.
And that Strixhaven is not the plane. It's Arcadios is the plane? Or something?
Arcavios?
That sounds right. If it's that, it's something real close to that. And yeah, Strixhaven is the college. And don't get me wrong, I like a nice big giant planeswalker war on Ravnica. I like a big Eldritch abomination eating everyone in Innistrad because Nahiri is mad at Sorin. I'm all about that. I'm all about Phyrexia and doing crazy big scope shit. I'm also a huge fan of not having the stakes that high. So like, I really like Battle Bond because it's a place where like you do an arena fight and nobody dies. And so like there is a little bit of the like we do have the Harry Potter crew has to fight Voldemort in this set, it looks like. So like there is still like a evil plot with the Orc? I don't know how it's pronounced because there's a Q
Auric,
at the
I
end.
think is how I was saying it. Auric, like
Auric, yeah. If the Q is pronounced like the Q in Iraq, it's probably Auric or Auric. So, but so there is
Rowan goes Dark Phoenix, you know.
Yeah. So there's certainly some non-Harry Potter tropes and some Harry Potter tropes, but I mean, there's nothing I like. I mean, as we learned from Theros, as we learned from Innistrad, tropes connect with people. It's easy for us to see, like, hey, this is like that thing that I like. I know, and
we learned it from Kamigawa too, just the opposite direction.
We learned a lot of valuable lessons from Kamigawa. Just basically, I would say every top-down set since Kamigawa has been sitting down saying, remember what we did in Kamigawa? Let's do the distinct opposite of what we did in Kamigawa and make a much better set. And now if we go back to Kamigawa, like the rumor is, oh boy, that's going to be weird.
Oh man, speaking of weird conspiracy theories.
Yes!
Kozilek.
Okay, a little bit it's Gavin's fault. Because, there's a lot of colorless cards, instants and sorceries in the set, which up until now has almost always, has regularly been in Eldrazi involved, or Ugin involved, which Ugin's pretty tiny.
Or Ugin, yeah, right.
And there's also a lot of like weird floating masonry sort of stuff that's kind of reminiscent of Kozilek, and Kozilek's also about like hidden knowledge. So somebody like pointed out to on Twitter, they're like, Gavin, there's a lot of Kozilek imagery, and his response was, "Don't worry about it." And then Reddit exploded, and then Gavin put out a video where he said Kozilek is not in this set. However, I would be really interested to know like there seem to be some things that are sort of Eldrazi-y collection.
Yeah. It's a pretty on the nose aesthetic for it to just be coincidental.
But you know what would be nice? Like, and there's also a few cards in Ikoria that had some like Eldrazi-esque sort of things.
Yeah.
But like
I just put up an image of Wandering Archaic.
Yeah, the Archaics look really, really Eldrazi focused.
And not just that, like it looks specifically like the Mystical Archive art for Inquisition of Kozilek.
And so, I mean, even if it's just the Eldrazi served a purpose in the multiverse, and like this was a plane that they re-terraformed, even if they're just trying to drop hints, that's awesome. That makes it all feel connected. Ooh, sorry, speaking of connection, sorry, I'm rambling, but I'm really excited about this set. Flavor text, particularly on the Mythical Archive. So for people who don't know, there's like 60 some or maybe 50 some. There's a good amount of cards that are reprints of older cards, some standard legal, many not, that are guaranteed to be in every pack, and they have some very unique art and different stylings, and the idea is Strixhaven is this big magic school, and they have the biggest library in the multiverse. So a lot of the quotes, a lot of the flavor text seems to be indicating it's like Strixhaven students and faculty talking about multiversal events, which in Magic most of the time the planes don't have a great idea of the other planes existing. Like they'll hint at it and like, oh god, Krufix on Theros knows, but it's not like, oh, there's other planes. Is not common knowledge unless you live on Ravnica, because now everybody knows about that. But
oops,
like there's people talking about Urza and like Liliana, even though she's not going by Liliana on this plane.
She's on the set, Brett. What are you talking?
Yes, that's right, Professor Onyx. But like there are Planeswalker faculty members, so clearly some people on this plane know about the Eldrazi and know about Planeswalkers and have heard of Dominaria, and I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just for a slightly lower stakes, more shenanigan-based story. And like, yeah, there's like, it sounds like they try to make a blood god come out, and there's like
a blood war.
You know, there was a blood war. Mara was like, let's make enemy color elder dragons, like, which is great. It's Magic. I ain't here to complain about more elder dragons. They aren't my favorite thing, but actually, I'm kind of liking a lot of these designs. And so, yeah, it's got it's very magic-y, but it reminds me a lot of Innistrad, and it reminds me a lot of Theros and of Jesus. Sorry, I am muggy today, muddled. Wow. Fairy Tale World. There it is, like that one.
Wait, Lorwyn?
No, the new one.
Okay.
Which is
Eldraine.
Eldraine. My God, I'm sorry. I'm gonna blame the fact that I got my vaccine today, and my 5G is still installing. But yeah, Eldraine. It reminds me of those planes I named in that they're really leaning hard. I think the top-down sets, they're really leaning hard into the let's pick the tropes and make cards from the tropes. And I find it easier to connect with cards when they make them like that.
That's fair. It feels a lot to me like the first time around in Ravnica.
Explain.
Yeah. It gives me, for me, it feels a lot like Theros. First, because I was not playing an original Ravnica. I started like right after that set was out, so that block. But like Theros of I'm recognizing these things, and these are characters that I'm liking. I also love the Kenrith twins. I'm a huge fan of the Kenrith twins, and they are like ideal protagonists for this story. I'm happy to see them here. The returning Planeswalker cast is great. So the Kenrith twins, Kazmina getting more fleshed out, Luca showing back up. We have the Luca card as of today.
Like, I don't know. I like the Luca and the Ozolith stuff, and like that thread is potentially Eldrazi related too. But
yeah, like it seems like a good and like the people were thinking we're gonna get Jin Cataxius because we got Vorinclex last set, and like even if we don't, there still feels like there's a lot of connected threads here, and I hope this set works out because this is a place I'd like to come back to, and I like Ravnica fine, and I realize that's kind of their main hub world now, but this makes much more of a sense for a place where Planeswalkers can go and be Planeswalkers. So I'm happy that this has kind of been established in the multiverse.
I actually kind of like the thought, not just Planeswalkers being Planeswalkers, but Planeswalkers taking their collective knowledge and actually being like educators, or like the thought that it's like it's like a multiverse, and like in some realm Liliana is actually like a studious professor, and I kind of like that thought.
And Liliana went to school here, like she planeswalked here at some point and like learned. So like I want to find out more about like famous faculty that have been or students that have been walkers. So it's just kind of it seems like a natural place to have involved in a multiverse story, particularly in a multiverse-based story where almost everyone in the multiverse doesn't know about the multiverse. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I would love to come back here and like, what is it, Teo? from War of the Spark, like the newer, like young White Walker, like the. I read the first War of the Spark book that was only mostly trash. I like Teo as a character, and so like this seems like the perfect place we have some newer, younger walkers. They can go here.
All I'm saying is Teo's got some egg energy.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just throwing it out there. That, I mean, we now have the equivalent of a magic hyperbolic time chamber here. If someone needs to go do something, go study. Oh, so and so is on Strixhaven studying because we have to kill the Phyrexians. Like,
that's good. I like that.
Do we have any more just general talks about the setting before we move on to card by card? Or card by card, just talking about some of the cards that we like.
Yeah, I'm keen to dig in.
All right, so I'm going to do a quick ad break before we do that because we're at a good spot to do so. So we will be right back after this word from our sponsors, and we're going to talk about some of the preview cards and what we are most excited for. Stick around. Does anyone need a moment, or should we just barrel right on through?
No, I'm good to just persist.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Put commercial break here, guys. I'll kind of start down. 3, 2, 1. And welcome back.
I was gonna say, before we quite move on, about the setting, one last note. I do like how school it is. Like Secret Rendezvous and like Pop Quiz and like, just like that. There's like actually, it feels like college and like education and like how many notes of that there were in it. Like that's actually a thing that they could have done kind of poorly, and I don't feel like they did. It does actually like bring academia to mind.
Oh, I get that vibe too. Before we dive in here real quick though, what college are you, Brett?
Silver Quill. 100% Silver Quill.
Yeah.
I have an English degree. I'm Silver Quill.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I do want to say, Quandrix is it right?
No, Prismari says it.
Prismari. I used to love Prismari, but I just I like red. I should say I like red blue, but I don't really like the inventor trope that much. I haven't really felt much of a connection with the is it. Having them be the drama nerds and the artists, I sort of love. I have my minors in theater. I have a love for the theater and the arts, even if I'm not much of an artist myself, and so I like that. I like the takes on everything. I like that red white is not, hey, we're good at fighting. It's the, hey, let's go and look at archaeology and do crazy shit and talk to ghosts and
field trips.
I love that white black isn't necessarily like the mob. It's just the kind of popular douchey kids who are mean. It's like they're the mean girls. I like that. I like the drama kids. I like the math nerds.
So that segues perfectly into I really like Witherbloom. So and I actually did a nod to it in our title card. They did the intro video, and the Witherbloom just comes out and just like, yeah, we got the best plants. And in high school and stuff, I was playing hacky sack. I was hanging out with all the stoner kids. Like that was kind of like they were the chill people, and like I just like enjoyed that. So like yeah, like more than I actually like green black, I think I might just play Witherbloom for the feel of it.
Okay, so you're also okay.
Pot.
So JC's Witherbloom. I'm with Silver Quill. Lily, where do you come down?
That's not even a question.
Okay, Quandrix.
I have once on multiple occasions, passionately defended base 12 as a system of numbers. And I have an opinion about about hexagons.
Okay. Also, someone was complaining that the Quandrix cards were coming off like too much Timmy cards. It's like, because there's that new card from today where it's like, it's the green X, double target creature's power and toughness X times.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh, but somebody was like, why is this Timmy? Why are the math people just trying to do like the biggest number? And then someone just dropped a link in chat that was a 12-minute video about these mathematicians, like a contest to who can write the biggest like quantifiable number. It's like, yeah, math people apparently spend a ton of time trying to just make the biggest number. So yeah, I think they nailed it.
I had a calculus teacher in college who he also taught in high school and like elementary, and I think it was like in one of his 6th grade math or something like that classes, he was giving people extra points for every digit of pi they could name beyond 3.1415.
I love that.
Can I just say, body of research is an amazing card.
And we animate library, but not silver bordered.
Right, but better if you draw cards after.
Yeah, no, and oh my gosh, exponential growth. That's what until end of turn, double target creature's power X times, and it's XX green. I also love that they're really leading.
So bad.
No, it's not.
6 mana to double it twice is not a good rate.
They actually referenced that card in the intro video, Welcome to Strixhaven, that I was quoting, that we have the best plants from.
Now, see,
Oh my god.
There's going to be there's already a bad fling deck. With that dragon that craps out treasure, there's already a bad fling deck in standard. There's going to be an even badlier fling deck in standard when I can double power 3 times. I've just got to say, they're killing it with X spells. Oh gosh, where is it? It's the XXX red, which might be my new favorite mana cost I've ever seen.
It's pretty scary. It's
Crackle with Power. There it is.
It's the one where Rowan goes Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, so it's Crackle. So sorcery XXX red. Crackle with Power deals 5 times X damage of each of up to X targets. Oh my god. It's everything I want in the world. It's so good. The set is dumb and I love it. But okay. I got to rant a little bit. Right. I've got to gush a little bit about my new commander and possibly my new favorite card.
Who's your new commander?
It is, well, the front of the card says the words Extus Auric Overlord. I don't care.
Okay.
I care about Awaken the Blood Avatar. Awaken the Blood Avatar is good. Mardu's my favorite combo. I didn't expect any Mardu cards because this isn't a wedge set. But it's a wedge card, and it is a sorcery that sticks in the command zone, and it has built-in cost reduction. I'll read you the card. So the front side, the boring side, it's a 2/4 for 1 white, 1 white, 2 black, and 1 colorless for a human warlock, which is actually one of my favorite creature type lines. It's got double strike, and then Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, return target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Fine, whatever. Awaken the Blood Avatar is 1 red, 1 black, and 6 for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. The spell costs 2 less to catch for each creature sacrificed this way. And then each opponent sacks a creature, and then you create a 3/6 black and red avatar creature token with haste, and whenever this creature attacks, it deals 3 damage to each opponent. I have a Kelsene Aristocrats deck. I had a Kelsene Aristocrats deck. I have Awaken the Blood Blood Avatar Aristocrats deck now. Because the avatar token you make isn't legendary.
No, that's pretty good.
So if you just make 1 billion tokens, you just get to sack them and keep casting this, and every time you cast it, your opponents sack a creature, you make a 3/6 with haste that when it attacks, it hits all of your opponents for 3. Oh yeah, and the other side of this card, if you ever decide you want to cast it, has Magecraft to get creatures back, so you just run a bunch of instants and sorceries that make tokens to get back your creatures that make tokens, so you can make blood avatars and kill everyone. And also, oh yeah,
that's pretty good.
So since you're casting your commander 1 million times, you get to run all of those commander storm cards. The white one makes tokens, the red one's copies instants and sorceries, and those copies trigger Magecraft, and the black one halves people's life totals. I've been wanting to run that black card in EDH since it came out, and it's always been too bad. Here is the deck. This is the card. I had to spend like 30 minutes and I could do this with this card, and I could do this with this card. This card is so well designed. This is everything that modal dual face card should be. This is so exciting. Okay, someone else talk, because...
Yeah. No, it's good. You want to play it as a different thing during different points in the game, which is exactly what you want.
And you can keep casting it because the reduction is so reasonable and easy to mitigate.
as someone who has had a Carador deck for as long as there's been Carador, almost. Yeah, I get it. My favorite card in the whole set so far, Golden Ratio.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 3-mana sorcery for 1 blue, 1 green, and 1. Draw a card for each different power among creatures you control. This card right there is what I wished all of the Quandrix shit would be. Like, I totally understand that I'm never going to see Magic cards as mathematically complicated as my heart desires in a standard legal set. But, like, in Wizards' defense, the main mechanic of the set is base power and for Quandrix is base power and toughness modification, which is like literally the most complicated area of the game of rules. So I mean, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, there are some really impressive Quandrix things. It's also, I like that they're willing to do, like, they're all about base power and toughness manipulation, and their mascot token is a 0/0 that comes into play with 2 counters.
A number of counters.
counters.
It's not always two.
So, like, that's
Sometimes
a little bit
it's
nuts.
one for each land that came into play this turn. Other times it's for the cards in your hand. Sometimes it's...
Okay, I just want to throw this out. Double Major is a Quandrix card.
It's good.
It's cute. It's just kind of insane. It's a 1 green and 1 blue instant. Copy target creature spell you control, except it isn't legendary if the spell is legendary. So, like, it's a clone that has to be played at instant speed when one of your creatures is on the stack. That is a pretty complicated card. Like, if we're making a list of cards that are going to get misplayed, this is at the top of that list.
I made a similar card in one of the commander decks for my set.
Oh, look! There's a card that is cheap and that is better to cast only if you cast it at your end step. Which card is that?
What?
Yeah, it got previewed today. Let me figure it out. Somebody talk about another card. I'll look for it.
Whoa! I did not see Vanishing Verse.
I mean, it might be in a different language.
One white and black instant exile target monocolored permanent.
Yeah, no. Also, Silverquill's mechanic seems to be removal, which is always fun. It's Closing Statement. It's 1 white, 1 black, and 3 instant. It costs 2 less to cast during your end step. Destroy target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. But, like,
no, it's during your turn, I thought.
No, cost 2 less to cast during your end step. Closing Statement specifically wants you to cast it on the end step.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Like, they're really pushing the complexity on this set.
That's ridiculous.
JC, did you have any cards you wanted to talk about in particular? I know
There's so
many.
Oh, I suppose I actually kind of like one I saw. Hold on, it's Dragon Guard Elite. It's cheap. It's 1 green and 1. It's got Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 counter on Dragon Guard Elite, and 4 green, double the number of 1/1 counters on Dragon's Guard Elite. I don't know. I feel like it's cheap. It's got a lot of value going forward. It's got cool art.
It's a hell of a bear.
Square Up is my favorite art.
Which one is that? That's blue-green.
Hybrid blue-green instant.
Oh, yeah. That, yeah, the art on this set is pretty phenomenal.
It's even better because, like, so square creatures are, like, colloquially...
Oh, I like Square Up. That's cool.
Of this equal, but also 4 is a square.
Oh, so really, we forgot to talk about the mechanics in this set. So, Magecraft we've referenced several times. It's you cast an instant or sorcery or copy, which is big because that makes Storm do stuff. Then you get an effect. Modal dual face cards are one of the mechanics, and then the other big mechanic, I think unless I'm missing one, is Learn. And so we haven't even talked about Learn yet.
Oh god.
So Learn is...
So, I just put up on the screen too, Pop Quiz is my favorite art, and it has Learn on it, so...
Okay, perfect. What covers that? Then I can read it.
Pop Quiz. Look at that art. Like, she's just like...
And for anyone who's watching this around live, I mean, if you're watching it later on, the set will be out. It'll be easy to look it up. Mythic Spoiler has all of these, so you can just go to mythicspoiler.com and they've got all the art. So if you want to join in at home, that's how.
Or you could get MTG Salvation.
JC, what does Pop Quiz do?
Pop Quiz is 2 and blue, and it is an instant draw a card and learn.
Oh, yeah, yes. And so learn is you may reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand, or discard a card and draw a card. So there is a new, it's a instant sorcery subtype, yes?
Yeah.
New subtype.
Along with Arcane and Trap.
So yeah, not a ton of instant sorcery subtypes.
Just like one more.
So there's instant sorcery lessons. Now there are quite a few colorless legends and lessons, and then several hybrid lessons, and then just some standard lessons, I believe, of just monocolors. So whenever they talk about a card you own from outside the game, if you're playing casually, it's exactly how it sounds. It's whatever you own. If you are playing a constructed format with a sideboard, so even Best of One standard has a sideboard, then it is one of your sideboard cards. And if you're playing Commander, it's none of them because you don't get to use those cards in Commander. So first of all, it's interesting that I appreciate that they put in you can just loot. You can just draw a card and discard a card. It's discard a card to draw. So it's actually rummaging, I think, technically.
Right, yeah.
Did we talk about Ward?
Oh, no, we did not talk about Ward. And yeah, so
Ward's quick.
Yeah, Ward's a new evergreen mechanic, which means it will be in every set likely.
I really like it.
And it's something that's been around for a long time. It's just putting a name to it. It's Ward something. So whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls counter, unless that player pays 2 for if it's Ward 2, or you can have Ward be a life cost or another cost. All that Ward does is means that there's another cost attached to targeting something. They've done this a lot. It is a better option than hexproof on a lot of things because it is more interactable with. They said they're going to be keeping hexproof around because sometimes hexproof is nice temporarily on certain big beaters that you want to have a lot of protection on. But to expect to see a lot more Ward and less hexproof, it's a great mechanic. They've used it a lot. I'm glad they're using it more. It's in all 5 colors, and my understanding is I think it's black and red. Ward will more often be a life total payment.
Right.
And on the other 3 colors, they'll lean more towards mana payments, but there are options to kind of move that around.
It also means less cheap, aggressive life or hexproof creatures.
Yeah. It'll make limited. It'll prevent. They really don't like boggles and boggle style decks, and boggles is a type of deck in Modern, and then there are similar decks in other formats where you take a cheap hexproof creature, you load it up with auras, and pump spells and just kill people real fast. It's fine in best 2 out of 3. It's kind of awful in best of 1 play. So Wizards is trying really hard. Seeing as best of 1 is one of the ways that Magic is played more than anything else. They're really trying to stop that from becoming a main archetype on Arena. So I think Ward's a great addition. It's like a workhorse sort of it's not that exciting of a mechanic, but it's going to do a lot of work.
I also think it's not going to be super obvious when it's worked in your favor.
I actually really like it thematically too, because there should be creatures that are tough, that hides can take a lot, but mechanically there should be things that can interact with it, and also from a perspective of just how a card feels and stuff like that, you should be able to pump enough raw magical energy into something to hurt even something with a tough hide. Yeah, no, I think it does a lot mechanically. I think you're right, it does a lot flavorfully. So now we can have smaller creatures that you can interact with them, but if you're playing them on curve and limited. Oh, did we lose Lily, or is Lily just messing with her camera?
I'm still here. I'm fixing my camera.
Okay. I'll just keep rambling then. So I really like it. And yeah, I think it serves a lot of purpose, and I don't think it's going to be, it's not going to be hexproof is obviously really good when you're just jamming hexproof. I think, it's a subtler mechanic, but I think there's a lot that can be done with it. And it has a lot of knobs, and the more knobs something has, the more that they can really balance stuff out. So I think it's just a net win for the game.
So learn.
This is this is big. They've certainly experimented with more sideboard stuff recently, and it's not like wishing is new. But generally when a card pulls something from your sideboard, in the past, it's kind of been the point of that card. So it's an instant or a sorcery that goes and gets one of them, or like that fairy, from Eldraine, where you like the sorcery half of it was to go wish for. Yeah, Fae Wishes, and you could go get a card and then bounce and kind of do it again. But like wish cards are traditionally quite powerful. Like they are a cornerstone of Legacy. Fae of Wishes was a huge contender in Standard. Is a huge contender in Standard, particularly in a world where they're pushing best of one. Say again.
And historic,
yeah. So I mean, there are a lot of decks built around wishes. So the kind of idea behind lessons is they aren't very good rates. So like here's some of the colorless one. It's an Introduction to Prophecy, which is super cute. It's 3 colorless mana for a sorcery, scry 2, then draw a card. That's not good.
Can we get the flavor text on that?
The flavor text is final grades are posted on the first day of class, which is cute and adorable.
And horrifying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and deeply upsetting. Fundamentally upsetting.
Oh, you think you have free will? Oh.
So Mascot Exhibition is it is a mythic. It's a 7 mana sorcery where you create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. You create a 3/2 red and white Spirit creature token and a 4/4 blue and red Elemental creature token. So you make 3 of the mascots. That's not bad.
They should have added a 0/0 fractal with no counters.
That would have been hilarious, and I completely agree.
Mascot.
That's 8 power for 7 mana. It's not bad. Normally, when you get to that level of mana, you get a little more bang for your buck. But the idea is that in Limited, whatever lessons you draft, and you can put lessons in your deck like normal. They have mana costs. They are just normal instants and sorceries if you want them to be. But in Limited, any ones you draft that aren't in your deck, you can pull out whenever you learn. And in Constructed, in best 2 out of 3, you can decide how many of your sideboard slots you want to dedicate to them. And in best of 1, you get 15 lessons. Because there's only a couple other cards in Standard that care about that. Fae of Wishes, and then that Angel from last set that lets you go get more Angels. No, that was from Zendikar. But this is, for best of 1, this is like a very toolboxy mechanic. The cards aren't great rates, but you get them into your hand for free. You get to draw a specific effect. Which
have you seen? My favorite one of these is Expanded Anatomy. You put 2. It costs 3. It's a lesson, and put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. It gains Vigilance till end of turn. I feel like that's pretty good for its rate and being able to get it from outside the game. And Vigilance can be really useful in a pinch.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not crazy good. You would never probably want to just main deck that as one of your normal cards. But when it's free, when it's tacked onto another effect, that's really solid.
Well, and they're not all like bad rates. Sometimes they're just like really specific. Like Confront the Past is a very niche card that you probably wouldn't want to run main deck.
Yeah, so Confront the Past that's the black one. I'm looking for.
Right, that's Liliana being the guilty fuck.
So yeah, that's a sorcery. It's black and X. You choose 1, return target planeswalker with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, or remove twice X loyalty counters from a target planeswalker an opponent control. So like, yeah, I wouldn't main deck it, but that's not a bad rate for what it does. You're right, it's just niche. So when I watched the release video and they previewed Lesson, I think I said out loud, this is a fucking mistake. However, having seen, I'd say at this point, most of the lessons, I think this is actually probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
I love that flavor text too. Why Gideon? Of all people, why save me?
I love her angst right now.
So, like, in the story, like, even before War of the Spark, she was, like, starting to, like, get her shit together as, like, a decent human being. And there was so much fucking guilt with it, too, where, like, I love that. I love that, like, I don't believe that I can be a good person. Why do you?
Yeah, it's a good trope. I like Liliana as a character. I like that she's gotten some really good development over the years. And it was
low-key shipping her and Gideon.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I think that was very much the intent. And yeah, I mean, it makes me more sad that Gideon's dead, which is when you kill off a character and you make people sad because of what could have been in a good way, not like killing Dak Faden for no reason. Yeah, no, Gideon's death like is a bummer and made me feel feelings. So to have that continue on and to have that shape Liliana's character development. My understanding, it seems like she's looking for some weird necromancy stuff, which doesn't bode well.
It's fine.
Yeah.
The card just brings the Planeswalker back for the dead. What could that mean?
Yeah, who knows? But initially I was quite concerned about putting cards not in your deck into your hand. I think they've been cautious on this. I suppose we'll see. Because also the cards that have Learn on them, they're not bad, but they aren't crazy good. Like, it's not like they're not printing like Tarmogoyf plus Learn. Or something better than Tarmogoyf. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I feel like they're a lot of the cards that I've seen Learn on are pretty good, like limited like chaff, like drafting and stuff like that. And if you're able to, draft like lessons and stuff and use those like, very good chaff Learn cards, I see a play in that.
Oh yeah, and
also discarding a card and then drawing a card is good actually.
Yeah. So Ingenious Inspiration. It's a 3-mana sorcery, 1 red and 2. It deals 3 damage to any target and Learn. Like all red players, like any burn spell, if it doesn't say any target, people complain that it doesn't say any target, and if it does say any target, people complain that it's not an instant. But this seems pretty reasonable. Deal 3 damage to any target, draw a specific card you want, is good. Now, it's not draw a good card, it's draw an okay card. But that's a 2-for-1 right there. And the thing you go and get could also be additional card advantage.
Like, it is worth mentioning that in many different sets, people would pay more for spells than you normally did for a 2-for-1. Like Flashback, like.
So I'm just trying to look at some options here. So like one of the lessons is a colorless 2-mana search your library for a basic land card, put it in your hand, gain 2 life. That is some crazy limited fixing.
It's pretty decent.
And it doesn't have to go in your deck.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So like I'm excited for this mechanic, but I don't feel like it's going to end the world, because another nice thing is, let's say you print cards that just take cards out of a nowhere pile and put them into your hand or into play. So like in like a Yu-Gi-Oh special summon, you know what I mean? Like you have your special summon deck. The moment you make a special summon deck in Magic that with good cards is the moment you irrevocably change Eternal formats. Legacy, if there's a good card that special summons the Ra or whatever, you know what I mean? Obelisk the Tormentor.
Companion, you mean?
Like Companion, yeah. But even outside of Companion, even the fact that the sideboard exists and has some more play is good. But you can run these in Legacy, but you're giving up sideboard slots in Legacy. So it has to be really damn good.
And in Best of 3, you're giving up sideboard slots.
Yeah. So I think they did a really good job of creating something that's going to be impactful and fun on Arena and not ruin a bunch of other formats.
Little weird, like, sidebar here. How weird is it that, like, we look at Best of 1 and Best of 3 like they're different formats?
Well, I mean, they are different formats.
No, I understand that they are, but, like, explain that concept to yourself 10 years ago.
For me, see, I felt like it was inevitable. Best of 3 is the way to get the best competitive value when playing Magic. But when we played Magic, like when we sat down in my old room in high school, sometimes we did best of 3, but mostly we just picked a deck and slammed it into another deck, and we didn't have sideboard. And so like it's also like people want to play Arena. It's on your phone now. People want to sit down and play a game of Magic. I don't want to sideboard half the time. I just want to play a game. And if the game goes bad, I want to pick up my cards and have a new game. So I feel like it is an inevitable way that people want to play. And it is not you get a better experience in a tournament if you have best of 3. It's one of those things where it's the best way to do them, but it doesn't necessarily feel the best. So I'd say it's correct in saying you will have a better competitive experience playing best 2 of 3. But that's not what people want to do 90% of the time. So creating a world where best of 1 is big and then shifting how you design new sets to accommodate that, and I don't feel like it's been at the cost of best of 3. But it's exploring new avenues and taking advantage of things that Arena can do well without ruining the game.
I don't agree with that. It hasn't been at the cost of best of 3. I think we have an entire mechanic in this set that the only actual keyworded mechanic that isn't just the evergreening of a previous mechanic is literally at the expense of best of 3.
But see, I don't know. I would argue that it's not at the expense of best of 3. I would add that it's adding a layer of complexity to best of 3.
Okay, it adds less to best of 3 than it does to best of 1.
See, I don't know if it adds it. If it's good enough, and if it's not good enough, I will admit, yeah, I'm wrong here. If it's just ignored because sideboarding's too important, sure. But if I have to ask myself, what are my sideboard slots? What are my lesson slots? What is the right ratio? How much learn should my deck have? Now you're adding decisions. You can ignore it. You can go all in on it. You can try to find, I should go 11-4. I should go 7-8. Like, I think there could be good, interesting decisions that affect how sideboarding works. And sideboarding is already complicated, so this is even more complicated if the cards are worth playing in constructed best of 3, which they might not be. Or they could ruin it, and I could be wrong.
My favorite niche that Learn fills is that casual, we don't play with sideboards, it's just whatever, person who has their Learn deck and has the stack of lessons that they keep. My heart. I was that kid.
Well, yeah, the Eldrazi. That would be that gets all your Eldrazi from outside the game into play. It's there's somebody with their Eldrazi binder who goes thunk.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. The moments best of 1, I feel is a lot of online play, but best of 3, when you have a sideboard and when you have these binders full of cards and you have a sideboard and stuff like that, I feel that's a really fun experience for in-person Magic and playing in card stores and stuff like that. Like you said, that kid who's got a binder full of Eldrazi that's thunk.
And here's the deal. I could be I'm bad at Magic and it's spoiler season. So everything we say is meaningless. This could end up just being a really repetitive mechanic. You learn and you always go get this card, and that's what you do. And maybe it works in Limited and in Constructed. There's 2 good learn cards and there's 3 good lessons, and you only get this lesson in this moment, and it's not that interesting. That could be how it shakes out, and it could end up kind of being a bland mechanic. I have high hopes, because I like toolboxes, and I like utilizing the sideboard in best of 1 in interesting ways that also allow people in best of 3 to do it in a different way. I think is hard and interesting. Hard to do and interesting if they can pull it off.
Sure.
So I guess that's my Learn rant or feelings. We're getting close to the end. Do we all just want to pick one more card or thing to wrap up? Because I've got one ready to go if y'all need a second.
Please.
So we only have it in German right now, maybe? So this may not be the exact name. We have our first ever sorcery that you can have any number of in your deck. So Approach of the Dragon. It is a sorcery for 1 red and 2. It deals 3 damage. Whenever you cast it deals 3 damage to each opponent. And then you may exile Approach the Dragon and 4 other cards named Approach the Dragon from your graveyard. If you do, search your library for a dragon creature card, put it onto the battlefield. I am digging this card. I might have to build a bad EDH deck with that Ripple card and some dragons. And some wheels, because I love wheeling.
Thrumming Stone, do you know how much Thrumming Stone is?
Oh, way too much money, probably, right? Let's do
not as much as probably buying 30 Shadowborn Disciples or whatever.
Yeah, wasn't that an uncommon? Or was that a common?
No, I think they've always been commons when they printed them, but he's
Oh, Thrumming Stone's oh boy. Let me see. TCG player Thrumming Stone is $56.
Buy it. It's the Mycosynth Platypus, same price, more or less.
I mean, if I decide to build a deck, I'll buy a Thrumming Stone. But I like that style of cards. I'm not like a big fan of the mill deck or like the like, I'm happy they exist. They haven't really spoken to me. I really like Seven Dwarves and I really like Approach of the Dragons, and maybe that's just because they're red. But I feel called to do dumb shit with this card.
Shadowborn Apostle is $7 each.
Yes, if you want to do this, if you want to do that with Approach the Dragon, buy a bunch, buy them cheap, buy them early, and even if they don't seem cheap for a common, they probably are.
But like Shadowborn Apostle is the best one of those that they printed. So
yeah, by far. But I think this one's super cute. So this is the last card I wanted to throw out before we end the show. For at least on my end, really excited for that.
Oh gosh, mine. I did not know we actually got Luca as a Planeswalker.
Yeah, just earlier today.
He's the backside of a legendary fox.
That new sentence. I don't think that has been uttered probably often before today.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm really, really glad that they keep printing these Planeswalkers with creatures on the front. I like it whenever Wizards just slips in Planeswalkers that can be your commander, despite Sheldon.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know how I feel about there being like a sideboarding commander anymore. I used to be very like decidedly pro commander sideboard because let people play with the cards that they want to play, how they're supposed to work. But like, I don't know. But I don't mind Planeswalkers as commanders. I don't like non-creature, non-Planeswalker permanents as commanders.
Well, we'll see if you hate my new deck. We'll see if you hate my new sorcery-based deck.
I mean, it's probably fine.
It makes a creature.
Yeah, that can be dealt with. Like, it's an effect. It makes a creature that can be dealt with. It's not like
an enchantment.
It's powered by the fucking Rainbow Bridge.
I feel like the Rainbow Bridge might have been a bridge too far, so to speak. Yeah, Luca, there's a lot of words on this card, so it's the front side's Mila, Crafty Companion, if you want to look it up. I need to read the damn story. I really like Luca. I like villains that are not necessarily spiteful, that are just kind of dumb. I also like someone becoming a villain due to escalating, no, but for real, I can fix this, I promise. So I like Luca's origin story of, no, wait, maybe if I attack my hometown with all these monsters, then it'll all work out. So
he's just a himbo, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not smart. He's real dumb. But I love him. So
like a high wisdom, low int character.
Yeah, like a really bad. Like the book opens the accordion. Well, no, we're not going to the post show. That's save for post show. JC, final card thought.
Secret Rendezvous. It's white 1.
Oh yeah.
The art's just really, it hit me. It made me feel feelings. Yeah.
Will you read the text and the flavor text?
It seems really homosexual. I don't know, but like I like it. So Secret Rendezvous, it's a white 1. It's a sorcery. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards. The flavor text is Strixhaven's 5 colleges encourage natural rivalries among the students, but some bonds transcend all barriers.
And it's 2 ladies sitting. Secluded. It's a lovely card.
1 Lorehold, 1 Silver Quill.
And the text should read, draw 4, target opponent draws 3, because it's still not card advantage. You're still down a card because you spent it and got 3 and your opponent got 3, but we're working on it. There's
a lot of ways it could be like marginally better, but
it's a white card that says draw 3.
I think it's going to be really good in Commander because you can simply give the person who's farthest behind 3 cards,
or give the person who's doing well a fancy bribe. So
that never worked. That
I can be bought. I am a big fan.
Not ultimately.
I am a big fan of being offered to "I will kill you last." And I have taken the kill me last bet on the desperate attempt to pull out a win, so...
I'm actually, like, not necessarily not a fan of Kill Me Last either, because I tend to build really rampy decks, and sometimes I'm not ramping good, but if you give me a little bit of time, I'll get dangerous.
That's what I'm saying, so kill me last, and then you could be like, oh, you were going to kill me last, now I will kill you, I will be doing the killing today. Call an ambulance.
Nobody in the history of me playing Commander, and maybe this is my position in the play groups I'm in, has ever taken me up on that kind of offer, so I do not ask it.
That's because you build dangerous machines.
It is not my fault you're too dumb to know what I'm doing.
I have also done my best to conduct a smear campaign against you over the decades to convince people that you cannot be trusted and must be eliminated first, which is a great strategy to win.
And then I make fun of you when you whine every time.
I don't whine, I cajole. It's different.
Bullshit.
I cajole. It's more dignified.
We all got things, though, in the playgroup. Like, Kat brings to mind as someone super dangerous to let live because she'll have 60 creatures if you let her live.
If you let her live, Avacyn's out, and now they all have hexproof, and there's also a worship. So, yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap the show up. We're gonna stick around for the post show if you wanted us to hear us talk about how Luca is absolutely a himbo, and yeah, we're just gonna make fun of Luca and actually talk about Magic in this post show. So thanks so much everyone for tuning in. Sorry again, we were off 2 weeks ago. That's certainly not the plan going forward. Unless more strangeness comes up, we will be back here similar time 2 weeks from today. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we appreciate it. If you want to watch the live show, just $1 on Patreon. You can watch the VOD. You don't even have to watch it live if you don't want to, but you get more content pre and post show, and sometimes even an interlude during the ad break if someone has to go to the bathroom. So I'd recommend it. It's a good time. Even if you don't pay for it, we're glad you're watching. We're glad you're tuning in. Stay safe out there. We might be closing in on the final lap of this whole crazy year thing. Stay strong, keep it together, and
stay home still.
Stay home, yeah. Don't be insane. Just listen to the CDC and doctors and not people who aren't those things if they say stupid shit on Facebook. But yeah, I'm also not an expert, so don't listen to me because I have a Magic the Gathering podcast. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you in the post show, or we'll see you next week. Have a good one, and make sure to remember who you are.